House of the Dragon, where to start? Well, back in the mists of time, when the first men and the Andals roamed the lands, George R.R. Martin started a series of books called A Song of Ice and Fire. And it was an epic work, original, clever and bold, but it's still not finished. The latest instalment was A Dance with Dragons in 2011, and we've been waiting for the winds of winter ever since. Like in Westeros, winter takes forever to arrive. I think we've all given up. By the way, as seasons have random lengths in Westeros, why do they even talk of years? What does a year even mean there? Anyway, the first book in the series was called A Game of Thrones, which became the title of the TV adaptation. Now, I've done a review of that, which you should watch, as it explains how that show should have ended, rather than the dog's breakfast we were served up. So, having messed up A Game of Thrones, the people behind it got cracking on the spin-offs. Now, the first season of House of the Dragon was good, I thought. Some strong characters, especially King Viserys and his brother Daemon. I will admit I got a bit confused with some of the others. Too many with the same hair colour. And similar names like Baela, Rhaena and Helena Targaryen. And it didn't help that they had to change performers as the characters aged. The switch of the two leading women was done well, but their children were just interchangeable, with the exception of the magnificent Aemon Targaryen, but that was helped by him having lost an eye. Oh yes, he's the one with an eye patch. Otherwise, I kept having to ask myself, who's that one? Oh yes, his mother is X, who's married to Y, although Y is dead. Or is he? But it doesn't matter, as his father isn't Y, it's Z, I think. But by then the scene has changed, and now I'm asking, well, who's this one? Is she the daughter of A who's married to B but then died? Or is she the daughter of C married to D? In Game of Thrones, the characters were so much more distinguishable. In House of the Dragon, they're sort of interchangeable self-assembly IKEA modules. In Game of Thrones, the Red Keep had a cast of magnificent, malevolent characters. You had Littlefinger, Lord Varys, Cersei, and loads more in the north and on Essos. In House of the Dragon, the Lannisters are meek, and most of the other houses of Westeros are just occasional background characters. Larys Strong has to provide most of what's sinister, but it's too much to ask of one person. The vast landscape of Westeros and Essos in Game of Thrones has shrunk to King's Landing, Dragonstone, and that's about it. Still, like I say, season 1 was okay, but season 2? I mean, what the actual? It was just a muddle. We had those strange dream sequences. Lots of boring meetings with wooden dialogue. It was like being back at work. Then the two leading ladies, who are figureheads for the two factions which are at war, meet up for a bit of a natter and a gossip before going back to their armies. It's like Joe and Adolf getting together in 1943 for a cuppa and a chat. Just not going to happen. There's one bit where one of these two goes camping for a few days. We see her having a swim. What's going on? Now, my daughter, who follows this more closely than I do, said she saw an interview with the actor who said, yes, my character went on a camping holiday. I don't know why. I mean, if the actors don't know what's going on, what hope is there for an old git watching at home and wondering whether to have a milky drink before bedtime? I mean, didn't she ask what her character's motivation was? I thought actors were supposed to do that. Or is acting really much easier than they pretend, maybe? But she was in Slow Horses, so all is forgiven. Lazy TV executives and producers think, oh, if we have enough fights and dragons and other spectacular effects, it won't matter that the characters are inconsistent and the story doesn't make much sense. Doesn't it matter to them? Are they really not bothered? And if they're not, should we be? So now season 3 has arrived and they're dribbling it out, one episode per week. I've only seen one so far. Now, the whole Westeros saga is said to be inspired by the 15th century Wars of the Roses in England and Wales. Lots of ordinary people dying horribly to promote a few toffs of vanity and thirst for power. So, in House of the Dragon, people swap sides, just like Earl Warwick and the Woodvilles in real life. But that makes it even harder to keep up with what's going on when it's past 9 o'clock and you're starting to get tired. I mean, why did Aegon agree to run away with Larys? Where were they going? What was their plan exactly? Maybe I missed that, as I was struck by how much Aegon looked like Crichton out of Red Dwarf. He did! You know, in that cloak with the hood up. Have another look, you'll see what I mean. He looked like Crichton. Then we see Aemon giving his mother a very inappropriate kiss. My, they're a rum lot. Meanwhile, Jace Valerian locks his mum in her room, and she then gives us a pastiche of Queen Elizabeth I's famous Tilbury speech. So now is she a Targaryen or a Tudor? I'm beginning to think I should stop trying to keep up with who's loyal to who, who's related to who's betraying who, and even who is who. And just enjoy it as a spectacle. The naval battle was impressive to watch. The settings, clothes and whatnot are good fun. The dragons are a laugh. There's one that has this massive underbite and he's called Sheep Stealer, like it's a Welsh bandit or something. So what if I don't know what's going on? That's also just like being back at work. If the program makers don't know, I'm not going to batter my brains trying to work it out. So I'd say just get yourself a nice hot drink, sit back and enjoy the spectacle. If you're trying to understand the plot, I think you're missing the point.